They're crouched behind their banner, and here they come.
This will be the 34th meeting between the Panthers and the Rebels. Permian has won 24 of the 34. There have been no ties. However, if you look at the history of this rivalry, the Rebels have had the advantage the last few years, as Lee has won 4 of the last 6 games. They lost in 1989 and then in 1991.
Well, the Lee Rebels, of course, have got a great playoff tradition through the 80s, as, of course, do the Permian Panthers. But both of these ball clubs are perennial playoff teams now, and both of them have to be rated as teams whose coaching staffs understand the playoff atmosphere. Both of them have got players on the teams that have played in playoff games. And we'll be back with that kickoff in just one moment. Or the kickoff, I should say, for the Permian Panthers. The Lee Rebels are getting ready to spread out on the field and kick this ball. Officials for tonight's game, or this afternoon's game, the referee is Dick Keene. The umpire, Malcolm Robbins. The line judge is Billy Hyde. Head linesman, Warren Pfeiffer. The back judge is Wes Booth. The statistician is Mike Gutierrez. These are all from the San Antonio chapter. Dick Keene is a Southwest Conference official. And both Bill Hyde and Wes Booth call a lot of Lone Star Conference games. None of these officials have called any Permian or Lee games previously, and so they're brand new to both teams. Look for a good group of officiating calls. John Duncan from the Permian Basin chapter up here in the booth with us. That's because he's got 3 big yellow flags to throw over Kurt's face and mine when we call it wrong.
The ball will be held by Henry Stewart for Todd Meade, and this 1991 quarterfinal matchup is underway. The ball will bound into the end zone and will be brought back out to the 20-yard line. The Permian offense will get their first crack at it. 1st and 10 from the 20. And let's set the offensive unit for the Panthers. It'll be Bruce James at center, Mike Sims and Eric Lubin the guards. The tackles, Matt Lockey and Jerry Sims will be a tackle in place of Jason Cothran. Stormy Case will open up at quarterback today. Malcolm Hamilton and Timmy Ross will be in his backfield. The tight end is Tony Daniels. Split end is Jared Bergen. The receiver, Kendrick Parrott, as the Panthers start on offense. Coming wide to the right side, it is Kendrick Parrott. The pitch, a flag will fly on the first play of the game. As John Williams gets it, a couple of flags are down there. Stewart and Crouch combine to make the stop. We'll check out the marker right now.
I tell you what, Lee, I don't know whether anybody else noticed this or not, but Lee came out in a totally different defensive set that time. Something totally different from what I have seen them run all year. They pull both linebackers in the middle. It's a penalty against the Lee Rebels. I'm not sure what the call is. We'll have to wait and see. It's an offsides against Lee. I think somebody must have lined up offsides. But their defensive set, watch it this time, a totally rather unorthodox looking defensive set for the Lee Rebels, as I'm sure that Coach Earl Miller is going to be pulling out all the stops, changing things around, making them look different and appear different than they have all year.
Front 4 for Lee, Nathan Lambert, Bernard Oldham, Matt Tryon, and Tony Olivas. The linebackers, James Ward, Chico Tellez, and Mark Seidenberger. The pitch coming back to Williams. Williams trying to turn the corner, will be forced out of bounds. It'll be Rod Strambler that finally pushes him out, close to a first down. He will have that first down.
No, he's only picked up a yard. He's going to be 2 yards short of the first down.
So it'll be 2nd down and 4 for the Panthers.
26-yard line. But the Lee Rebels are very, very conscious outside, and they're playing outside in a hurry. They're going to, if Permian's going to move on this defensive set, they're going to have to move some up in the middle of the line.
Secondary for Lee, Jake Crouch, Henry Stewart, Mike Brackett with 7 interceptions, and Rod Strambler. Fake pitch down the middle, looking for Tony Daniels. It's incomplete. Henry Stewart defending on the play.
Boy, he had Daniels open. Daniels was looking over his inside shoulder, and he threw it over the other shoulder. He just looked the wrong way.
Mark Seidenberger providing a pressure right there on Stormy Case, making him get rid of it just a little earlier than he would have liked. It'll be 3rd and 4 for Permian. Their first offensive series from their own 26-yard line. Clock has stopped with 11:29 to go in the first quarter of play. To the left side, it's Kendrick Parrott. Malcolm Hamilton, the one man behind Stormy Case. In motion, it's Williams. Case back to throw. Looking downfield. And the ball will be incomplete. Almost intercepted by Mike Rackens as the pass was intended for Jared Bergen. But the Lee defense is held.
Seriously underthrown on this time. Case had plenty of time. He was not particularly rushed. He had plenty of time to throw, but he just doesn't get enough on this ball. It's kind of a wounded duck looking like coming down there. If he had been able to get it about 10 yards further downfield, he might have had a shot.
So on 4th and 4, Earl Miller's team will line up in a punt receiving formation, as it is Shane Wells averaging just over 35 yards per kick. Back to get it out of there at his own 15-yard line. There's a rush. Shane gets a high kick away. Fair catch called for and taken by Mike Rackens. But what great field position for the Lee Rebels. They'll start out 1st and 10 at their own 45-yard line with 11:12 to go in the first quarter.
Well, Kurt, the Lee Rebels' choice of the wind in the first quarter really did prove to be an advantage during that first offensive series, as Case didn't have enough arm to get it downfield against the wind, and they ended up getting a short punt against the wind.
The Rebels on offense, and it's Jimmy Patton that's in there to start at quarterback, tripped up by Ephraim Marino.
Well, it's a good thing that Marino got a hold of him around the ankles, because he had a little room to roam. They've done a good job of blocking at the point of attack.
Sherman Dedrick picks up 1 yard. It'll be 2nd and 9 from the Rebels' own 46-yard line. Clock running under the 11-minute mark. First offensive set for Midland Lee this afternoon. Movement along the line. Permian gets back. Receiver to the right side for Jimmy Patton. He pitches it right to Dedrick. Dedrick has room. He's in Permian territory. Has a first down to the 42-yard line for Sherman Dedrick, brought down by Michael Comer and Steve Kelly.
Well, the Lee Rebels came out here fired up bunch on offense, and they are doing a great job of dominating along that line of scrimmage. They got some great blocks that time. I mean, some great blocking out in front of the ball carrier. It's the defensive secondary that finally corrals him, but not till he picked up about 10 yards.
1st and 10 Rebels at the Permian 42-yard line. Officially a 12-yard pickup for Sherman Dedrick, who came in with 801 yards rushing. Number 1 rusher for the Rebels. Tight on the left side is Jeff Honeyman. Courtney Turner hands the ball off, and he is stopping Sherman Dedrick, as Dedrick will take it just outside the 40-yard line, about a 2-yard pickup.
Little slant play out of the broken bow. They bring it off to their left side, but not a whole lot of running room there. Was some good blocking. Casey Jones got a great block in the middle of the line.
Clock running. Rebels with 2nd and 9 at the 41-yard line. Turner looks downfield. Has a man. It is incomplete. Steve Kelly defending. No flag, although the Rebels wanted one. Court Peterson was back defending on the play. 5 interceptions on the year for Court. And watch this one again.
Well, there almost could have been pass interference going both ways on this play. There is a push off right there on the receiver, and also it was a pretty good battle going on, but offensive was closer to pass interference than defense was.
Clock will stop with 9:17 to go in the quarter. Lee faced with a 3rd and 8, and it is Courtney Turner that is in there at quarterback right now. Courtney 11 out of 25 passing coming in. Now he's 11 out of 26. He's thrown for 2 touchdowns. Turner looks to throw. Right side, puts it in the air. It is incomplete.
Almost intercepted.
Nearly intercepted by Court Peterson.
Court Peterson cut under him that time. He was playing the ball all the way. Don't believe the receiver could have caught it, even if Court Peterson hadn't been there. The ball was thrown a little bit low and to the outside of the intended receiver.
So Lee picks up a first down on their first series, but that's it. Stopped at the Permian 40-yard line. And it'll be Darrell Lucas, who averages over 38 yards per kick, ready to get away to Will Wagner, that you see waiting for it at about his own 10-yard line. Darrell Lucas will get the kick away from midfield. Low snap. High spiral. Fair catch called for, but Wagner will let it bounce. Out of bounds. What a kick by Darrell Lucas. It goes out at the 9-yard line.
Well, it was kind of it wasn't a real pretty kick, but it sure was a real effective kick.
So with 9:04 to go in the first quarter play, field position is going the Rebels' way as Lee has pinned Permian back to their own 9-yard line.
Well, they selected the win because they wanted that field position. Earl Miller wants to play some field position football, wants to control the field of play, and right now he's given the Permian bunch about 91 yards of green in front of them before there's a goal line. It's a long ways to go.
First and 10 Permian. Kendrick Parrott wide to left. Power eye behind him. The ball handed off to Williams in the backfield trying to turn the corner. Williams at the 10. He is forced out of bounds at the 17-yard line by Jay Crouch and Mike Brackens.
Well, I tell you what, he is, that was pure athletic ability because this play is stopped right here. They've got him stopped, and the contained man's got him contained, it looks like, but Williams just outran him to the corner, managed to pick up that 5 or 6 yards before they were 8 yards, I guess it is, before they forced him out of bounds.
John Williams came in 1,028 yards on the year, first sophomore ever to go over the 1,000-yard mark for Permian. Still playing with that broken nose and stitches in his eye, but a little easier to see this week than it was last week, although he continues to wear the visor. The pitch comes to Malcolm Hamilton, who goes ahead for a first down across the 20-yard line. It was Chico Tellez, middle linebacker, making the stop on Hamilton.
Well, Chico is an important part of that lead defense in the middle. He and the coach had a few disagreements during the week, but Chico's ready to play. I think everybody on both ball clubs, all the ball players, were about as uptight as they could get over this entire week of practice, and I think the sportscasters and the fans and everybody else were getting a little uptight.
First and 10, Permian at their own 23-yard line. Up the middle, running room for Permian to the 31. Jake Crouch puts the stop on John Williams.
Well, this is a good job of John Williams of just kind of filtering through the hole there. He makes a good move right here to kind of get himself loose, and then just kind of filters his way forward for a nice pickup of about 9 yards.
So it'll be second and a long one, coming down the 8-minute mark in the first quarter. Stormy Case with the power eye behind him. Case will pitch the ball back. Williams hit once and instead of Hamilton in the backfield, has the first down, a flag flies. Brackens brings Malcolm Hamilton down from behind.
But it's all going to come back. It's a holding call. Holding call, and it's all coming back. Right there. You see it. You see the holding right there. And that brought it all back.
So the clock will stop with 7 minutes and 45 seconds left in the first quarter.
Boy, that's a hurtful penalty. It's going to be second down and about 11.
The first penalty of the day against the Permian Panthers. Lee had the penalty on the first play of the afternoon. So we're even up in penalties. We're even up in first downs. We're even on the scoreboard, but no score early in this football game. Permian will have it second and 15 right now.
Second and forever.
As the ball has been pushed back to about the 17-yard line. 7.5 minutes to go in the half, or in the first quarter, that is. One man in the backfield, that's Malcolm Hamilton. In motion, it's Williams. Case on the draw to Hamilton up the middle. Big hole. Hamilton across the 20. Stumbles down at the 21-yard line. James Ward got a piece of Malcolm Hamilton's ankle and brought him down.
And it's a good thing for the Lee Rebels that James Ward managed to stay at home because everybody else was floating with this. And Ward just got a piece of him. Or he could have rambled for a long ways on that one.
It'll be third down for Permian under the 7-minute mark.
About third and 10.
Bruce James ready to give the ball back to Stormy Case. Fake pitch. Case looking down the sidelines. It's incomplete. Well overthrown. Intended for Kendrick Parrott, who went out of bounds on the Lee sidelines. Henry Stewart was defending, but the pass way over the head of the intended receiver, Parrott. So it'll be fourth down, and Permian will be punting again.
Well, and punting from almost the same position they punted from the last time. So Lee, once again, probably going to get very good field position. The wind seems to have picked up a little bit.
Clock stopped with 6:36 to go in the first quarter. Shane Wells, 5'7" junior, on to kick it out of there for the second time today. He'll get this kick away from about his own 10-yard line. Good snap. Wells with plenty of time. Kicks it out of bounds, and let's see where they spot it. It'll be in Permian territory, the 45-yard line. Time out of the field with 6:29 to go in the first quarter. No score between the Lee Rebels and the Permian Panthers. This is a Super 7 Sports production. Roy Robinson gets the call and takes it a couple of yards closer, starting from the 45. It was Brian Tucker, senior co-captain, on the tackle that time for Permian.
Pickup of about 3 on the play. It was just the wishbone base play right up the middle of the field. The Permian Panthers are having a real struggle on their hands with the Lee Rebels here in the first quarter, because the Lee Rebels are taking great advantage of the wind and the field position.
Wide to the right side, it's Brian Martin. It's Courtney Turner that's in there at quarterback right now. And a big play on defense made by Brian Tucker. The handoff came to Sherman Dedrick, and Tucker was there as soon as Dedrick got the football.
Big loss on the play, all the way back to the 45-yard line. That sets it up 3rd and 10. For a wishbone team, that's not something that they really like to see. Don't be surprised, however, to see Courtney Turner come out with a little passing action this time, because the young man has demonstrated he has a good arm and some receivers who can catch the ball.
Again, Turner 11 out of 26 in the passing department for 269 yards. That's just over a 40% completion rate. He's thrown for 2 touchdowns. The wishbone behind him, double tight end on 3rd and 10 for the Permian 45. Now they split out to the right side. 2 receivers, and the play will be whistled down. A delay of game going against the Rebels.
Oh, boy, that's a costly 5-yard penalty. My goodness. So it's the ball back to midfield. And Coach Earl Miller is a little bit unhappy on the sideline.
So instead of 3rd and 10, it's 3rd and 15.
Boy, that makes it tough.
Turner now splits 2 out to the right side. Tucker and Sullivan. Turner throws out the right, looks to throw, and it's completed. The Rebels have it for a first down at the 34-yard line. Will Wagner and Steve Kelly make the stop. But what a big completion for Lee, and it's a first down.
Beautiful pass, and Tony Daniels hit Courtney Turner just as he threw it, but he caught that for the first down and got a very generous mark on it, but it is a first down. He came down with the ball right on the 35-yard line. They marked him just across. That's enough.
Under the 5-minute mark. 1st and 10, Rebels. The best drive of the day. Patton pitches the ball back. The Panthers force a fumble, and Permian recovers. Permian has the ball. Will Wagner falls on it, or Will Wagner caught it. Marino falls on the ball, and the first turnover of the day stops the Rebel drive.
Let's watch it one more time. Let's see if he was down. I thought he was down. No, he's not down. The ball comes out well before he's down. Shakes him loose. Lloyd Hill came wandering into our booth about right now.
Lloyd's got a growth. The bearded look. Lloyd Hill, of course, a member of that 1989 Permian State Championship team. Permian will get the ball now. They'll start at 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line. Up the middle. Into Lee territory.
Williams, I believe. It may have been Malcolm Hamilton. I have to wait till he gets... No, it is Malcolm Hamilton.
Malcolm Hamilton, secondary, forced to make the stop. Crowd
38-36 look a lot alike from up here.
So Permian picks up the first down on a 13-yard run by Malcolm Hamilton.
And they're into Lee territory for the first time this afternoon.
No score. First quarter, 4:20 to go in the quarter. As Stormy Cates pitches it back to Hamilton, he makes one cut upfield, needs a block, gets it through a hole inside the 30, down to the 25-yard line. Jake Crouch and Henry Stewart make the stop after a big pickup by Malcolm Hamilton of 22 yards.
This is just great running by Malcolm Hamilton. Gets a good block right there at the point of attack, cuts back through a hole, and then just does a great job of running. He cuts back behind another block and carries 3 tacklers with him for another 2 or 3 yards.
Under the 4-minute mark. Permian trying to take advantage of a turnover. The clock will stop right now. And officials timeout.
They were having a little trouble getting the ball to lay still on the field. Still on the field.
First and 10 Permian at the Lee 25-yard line. Up the middle. It's Williams who takes it to the 20.
Inside the 20 to about the 19-yard line.
Matt Tryon on the tackle.
Great job of running that time by Williams. Boy, they are using this 1-2 punch. Hamilton and Williams. Boy, Hamilton got a great block out in front there, too.
So the best drive or the best field position for either team. As Lee had it at the 35 before fumbling, Permian recovered to the 40. They've taken it to the 20.
And a penetration. So Permian is taking over the stats department, at least at this point of the game.
2nd and 4, Bergen in motion. The pitch comes right side. Hamilton takes it for a first down inside the 15-yard line before James Ward makes a stop.
No flags on the field. Looks like the play will stand. We'll set up a 1st and 10 on about the 13-yard line.
7-yard pickup for Hamilton.
2:56 left to go in the first quarter of play. No score in our ball game from Jones Stadium on the campus of Texas Tech University. An absolutely gorgeous afternoon.
Michael Kohler and Will Wagner check in the lineup. Bruce Jerry will come out. Scott Jerry, excuse me. 1st and 10 of the 13. Hamilton down to the 10. Will be a stop just short of the 10-yard line.
I'm not sure who it was. I've got to pick up a number here, but the wide receiver, whoever it is, gets a great block on the quarterback out here. Watch it right there. Just rolls him up.
Matt Tryon again making the play defensively for the Rebels.
If the block had been just a little bit quicker and the back had cut outside of it, he had gone to the end zone.
Coming down the 2-minute mark, Permian faced with a 2nd and 8 at the 11. Power I behind Stormy Case. Williams tripped up in the backfield, and he'll be down for about a yard loss. Jake Crouch put the stop after Williams was tripped up. And it'll be 3rd and 9. Mark Seidenberger.
Seidenberger's the one who gets deep into the backfield and kind of messes the play up. He gets an arm around his ankles.
So Permian, after moving it quickly downfield, have problems once they reach the 13.
Well, I tell you what, this is a very, very good Lee defensive unit. Anyone who saw Lee play early in the year knew they had a good defense, but nothing compared to what they're showing right now.
3rd and 9 at the 12. Hamilton, the only one in the backfield. Wagner in motion, and now the play will be stopped before it gets underway. It looks like a delay of game against Permian.
A little too long in getting the play in there, and then it was a slow developing play. They had a shift to one side, and then they started man back in motion. By the time they got all that done, it was too late. Already wound the clock. They still haven't got the play in the game, and now here comes Case in with the play.
Tam Hollingshead sending the play in with Stormy Case. Less than a minute to go in the first quarter. No score yet between the Panthers and the Rebels. Permian faced with a 3rd and 14 back to the 17-yard line. Case puts Wagner in motion. Rolls out to the left. Looking for Wagner. Has it. Inside the 5. Into the end zone. And that's a mojo touchdown for Will Wagner.
Well, that was the play they were trying to set up before. This time Wagner comes in motion completely across the field, and they just kind of lost him. By the time the man picked up the coverage on Wagner, he already had the outside position, gathers the ball in, and tightropes down the sideline to go into the end zone.
With 40 seconds left to go in the first quarter, Permian scores in a drive that took 3 minutes and 58 seconds off the clock.
Set up by a Rebel mistake, a fumble.
Shane Wells in to try the extra point, and it's good. Wells now 66 out of 70 in the extra point department.
Tell you what, that extra point, he hit the glass window on the mezzanine area at the south end of the stadium. Here's the touchdown one more time. Good throw this time by Case. He lays that ball where only Wagner can catch it. Wagner shows a lot of strength pulling out of the hands of the defender, stepping it on into the end zone.
The scoring drive, 7 plays, 60 yards, 3 minutes and 58 seconds. The touchdown toss, 17 yards to Will Wagner.
Well, it's got to be a disappointing touchdown for the Lee Rebels because they were driving the ball well. Fumbled the ball fairly deep in Permian territory, and Permian immediately turns around, marches it down, stuffs it in for a touchdown. Big turnaround.
For Stormy Case, his 18th touchdown pass of the year. Will Wagner scoring his 7th touchdown. Permian, coming in, had scored 140 points in the first quarter. The first quarter has been a good one for Permian. The only game in which they failed to score in the first quarter was Amarillo and Amarillo-Tascosa. They came within 40 seconds of being shut out here, but did score late. There's a kick by Shane Wells. Against the wind, it goes to the 2-yard line. Bracken watches it bounce past him and out of bounds.
I don't think Bracken's really wanted to field that one anyway. The ball kind of died, landed on the 2-yard line, and then bounced through the end zone. This wind is a little bit fooling. Watch the flags now. The wind is blowing almost across the field instead of down the field. So it's a little bit tough for a kicker down there right now. See the flags blowing there. See the lower flag is wrapped around and around and around the flagpole because the wind keeps shifting directions.
Senior Jimmy Patton is in there at quarterback. 1st and 10 Rebels. Handing off right up the middle. What a burst for Roy Robinson. He takes it to the 42-yard line. Kelly and Perez make the stop.
This is tremendous blocking at the point of attack. A good fake, tremendous blocking, and then some tremendous individual effort. But he had a hole through there you could drive a truck through. And then they buried the middle linebacker. Defensive backs try to get him, and then the first one falls off. The next two finally get him down.
A 23-yard pickup for Roy Robinson. 1st and 10 lead from their own 43. Turner in there, handing the ball off to Sherman Dedrick. Sherman takes it across the 45 to the 48, so another 5-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 5, and that'll be the last play of the first quarter. After one complete from Jones Stadium in Lubbock, the 1991 quarterfinal matchup between the Lee Rebels and the Permian Panthers. Permian has it.
Permian has 1 penetration to none, 5 first downs to 3, 79 yards to 49.
Patton hit as soon as he pitches the ball, but he does get it away. Still, the Permian defense is there to make the play as Dedrick is forced out by Brian Tucker.
No gain whatsoever on the play. That's the way you're supposed to play the option. Somebody take the quarterback, somebody else take the big man, and just string it out. They do a great job of stringing it all the way to the sideline.
Tony Daniels making that big hit on Jimmy Patton. It'll be 3rd and 5, forced out, so the clock will stop at 11:55 to go in the first half of play. Courtney Turner comes in, the sophomore QB, replacing Patton right now on 3rd and 5 for the Rebels' own 48. Martin will come out to the right side. Wishbone behind Turner. Turner pitches the ball back to Dedrick. Dedrick is hit once, breaks it, and will be forced down to the 49-yard line. Brian Tucker and Will Wagner combining to make the hit. After a 1-yard pickup, that'll bring up a 4th down for Lee.
Well, I tell you what, they do a great job of running this, though. Everybody gets out there and getting a block, including Courtney Turner, who's got a good block on the corner. Good job of blocking, but it just wasn't quite far enough.
Lee did get out of a little bit of a hole, though. They started from their own 20. They get the ball out to midfield. It'll be spotted just shy of the 50. Darrell Lucas will come on. He'll get the kick away from about his own 40-yard line.
Wind is cross field at this point.
Nice kick by Lucas. High, aim for the corner. No, instead it's Wagner that takes it at the 10-yard line, and a flag will fly. He called for the fair catch, I believe, and then started to run with it.
That's a 5-yard delay of game penalty. Move it back 5 yards. They're going to call him for a delay of game because he signaled for the fair catch and then started to run. Remembered what he was doing. Stopped real quick, but that was just too late. Can't do that. Delay of game. Dead ball foul. Move it back 5. Started on the 5-yard line instead of the 10.
So Permian, their first drive here in the second quarter as they start from a hole. They have the lead at 7-0. However, they will be backed up to their own 5-yard line. It'll be 1st and 15 after the 5-yard mark-off. 11:04 to go in the first half of play. Kendrick Barrett will come out to the left side. Tower eye behind Stormy Case. Case up the middle. Short pickup for John Williams before Bernard Oldham brought him down.
Just a little quick hitter right up into the center. Hamilton's the ball carrier. It's Williams.
Oldham, 6 foot, 200-pound junior. 2-yard pickup for Hamilton. It'll be 2nd and 13, pushed out to the 7th. Case puts Hamilton in motion. A pitch comes to Williams. Williams trying to turn the corner. Does so. Williams.
Coming back, there is a penalty on the play. I think the man turned upfield before the ball was snapped. The motion man turned upfield before there's 2 men in motion. Parrott actually moved. Parrott actually moved before time for him to move. Came out of his stance a little quick. Good run, just nullified it.
So Permian having problems penalty-wise on this drive.
Well, that's going to push them back to the 3-yard line, half the distance, 2.5, 3-yard line. Well, they're on the, 7-yard line. Going to push them back to the 3.5-yard line.
The clock will stop with 10 minutes and 18 seconds to go in the first half of play. It'll be 2nd and 16 for Permian. Back at the 3.
The crowd has continued to come in since the ball game started, and now there is a large crowd here.
Pitch comes back to Hamilton. Across the 10, down to the 15-yard line. It was Rod Strambler making a stop on Hamilton.
Hamilton just made one little bit too much of a move out here on the outside, or he might have gone all the way. Great move right there. And he tries to play off this block and just can't quite get past it. Sets up 3rd down and a makeable 5, however.
9 in the first half. Kendrick Parrott will go to the right side. Tower eye again behind Stormy Case. Case gives the ball to Hamilton, who will be stopped short of a first down. Mark Seidenberg was right there in the middle to stop it up. Hamilton needed a 20. He was stopped at about the 19.
Good job by the middle linebacker this time. Watch this. Tellez plays off of a block and then just steps up in the hole and meets him right around the knees.
So Permian did get out of the hole, but not enough to pick up the first down. So Shane Wells will come on.
Have the wind to their back right now. It is blowing straight down the field from south to north.
Henry Stewart, the deep man, waiting at around his own 40-yard line. Good snap, and there's a high viral by Shane Wells. Back to the 32. Stewart going backwards and falls down at the 25. What a kick by Shane Wells.
Wow. Wow.
There's a flag on the field.
$55-yard kick, and a clip on the end of that is going to shove it back 15 more. That's going to be a 65-yard switch in field position.
It'll be a clipping call against the Rebels.
No, against Permian. He signaled it against Permian. He signaled the clip against Permian.
I think he made a mistake.
He signaled it against the Permian Panthers.
I think he made a mistake. It is against Lee. The official signaled the wrong way.
Yeah, there you go. So that's a 65-yard swing in field position. That is about as good as any coach can hope for.
So the Rebels will start this drive from their own 13-yard line.
With a first and 22.
8.5 minutes to go in the first half. Permian leading 7-0. Pat hands the ball off, but the Permian defense stacks it up. Brian Tucker was right there in the middle of everything. As Patton, I think, gave the ball to Roy Robinson. It was everyone was in there so tight, it's really hard to see who got the football. There was a 1-yard loss on the play, so it's now 2nd and 24, back to the 12. Courtney Turner is in at quarterback now. Turner.
Handed it off.
Michael Comer, middle linebacker. Stopped that play.
Boy.
As 3rd and long for Lee.
Somebody checked the huddle. I think Comer must have been there, because he was waiting on that.
A 1-yard pickup makes it 3rd and 23 from the Rebels on 13-yard line. 7.5 minutes to go in the first half of play. Turner fakes, now looks to throw. Pushed out of the pocket, looks downfield, and it is incomplete.
Close. Close.
The pass intended for Jeb Honeyman. It was Will Wagner who was defending on the play.
Boy, I tell you what, close. Watch it. There is no flag. Watch this again. Oh, yeah, he hit him before the ball got there, my friend. Oh, well.
Brooks and Marino.
Only counts when the yellow comes down, right?
Brooks and Marino provided the coverage, and as you can see, Earl Miller not happy with that non-call.
And it happened right in front of him.
7:16 to go in the half, as Lucas will kick from his own goal line. High snap. Lucas gets it away. High kick.
Short, though.
Wagner calls for the fair catch and takes it at the 46-yard line of Lee. So Permian will have excellent field position. First and 10 at the 46 with 7:08 left to go in the first half.
Well, Kurt, it's been a ball game that a couple of key penalties have really made a difference. A turnover by the Lee Rebels has been the contributing factor in the Permian's first touchdown. Though Permian did put together a nice drive, it was still started on a turnover. So mistakes have caused some major problems so far in the game.
Kendrick Parrott is wide to the left. Permian now shifts 2 men out to the left side. Keeping it on the ground, the pitch to John Williams. Breaks 1 tackle, breaking 2, but he's forced out of bounds.
2-yard loss or 1-yard loss on the play.
Henry Stewart finally pushes him out as Williams just ran out of territory.
Well, Permian shifts everybody over to this side to try to get the numbers out here on the blocking scheme, but it just didn't work. Too many people fought off their blocks and fought through them. Ward did a great job. He's the one that really messed it up.
A 1-yard loss will make it 2nd and 11. Back to the 47-yard line with exactly 7 minutes to go in the first half of play. Bruce James, 5'11", senior center, ready to give the ball back to Stormy Case. That's Timmy Ross in motion. Case across the middle, open, Tony Daniels to the 30, inside the 30, still on his feet. Daniels will be brought down at the 10-yard line. Tony Daniels was W-I-E-D open, but there is a flag on the play. Mike Brackens tackled him, but look at the marker. It's against Permian.
Clip and the play.
This will all come back. A clipping call against the Panthers.
Right there. Number 12, Bergen, got his man from behind. And that's where it's coming back from. From the clip, it'll come back 15 yards, which will set it back just about where the ball was to start from. It'll be just about all the way back. Because 15 yards from there is going to put the ball back just about the 45-yard line, which is about where they started. It's going to be 2nd down at 9. The Permian crowd on this side of the stadium extremely vocal in their displeasure with the call.
And the Permian crowd on this side has filled up nearly the second level here. They've nearly filled up the entire second section.
A large crowd on hand. I would say our crowd has now reached the 30,000 mark at least, or better.
2nd and 9 Permian from the lead 45. Case flips the ball to Williams. Williams gets one block, now cuts back the other way. Williams at the 42-yard line will be brought down. Ran a pickup of 3 yards.
Ran about 30 or 40 yards that time to pick up 2. Williams on a little individual ad-lib of his own says, whoops, I ain't going to go nowhere. I don't know. He might have been a whole lot better off to turn that ball up inside because there was some room to run there.
Dustin Sims and Henry Stewart making the defensive play for the Rebels that time. 6:10 and counting left in the first half. Permian faced with a 3rd and 6 at the lead 42-yard line. Case puts Ross in motion. Case looking to the right side for Ross. Has him open, but instead now he goes underneath, and it is completed. First down to Timmy Ross at the 28-yard line. I thought for a moment that Case decided he would keep it himself. Jake Crouch in a tackle as he did make the completion to Timmy Ross.
Tell you what, this is some heady play by Case. Watch this. He tucks it away like he's going to run, stops at the last minute and rifles that ball in to Timmy Ross. Gave Timmy plenty of time to work his well free.
Mark Seidenberger providing the pressure on Stormy Case, forcing him outside. So Permian picks up a first down on a 14-yard pass completion. It's 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line of Lee. 5:40 to go in the first half of play. Permian leading 7-0. Bergen in motion. The pitch coming out left side. Malcolm Hamilton going across the 25 to the 24. Henry Stewart puts a stop on him.
Boy, that was a collision down there. Malcolm Hamilton saw there was no place to run. He just lowered his head and tried to run over Stewart. Didn't quite get the job done, but he did shove the pile his way a little bit. Stewart does a great job of avoiding the first block.
Pickup of about 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6 at the 24. 5:05 to go in the half. Will Wagner will go out wide to the right side. Case, Hamilton is stopped at the 25. A loss on the play, courtesy of Jake Crouch.
Boy, I mean, that was one of those snap pitch down. I mean, in a hurry, he's down.
Crouch came up quickly. There was no one on him, and he got in that backfield and brought Malcolm Hamilton to the turf.
Well, Williams elected to pass him by as a blocker. That was a mistake.
3rd and 7. Permian at the 25-yard line. Permian leading 7-0 with 4:15 to go in the half. Parrott comes out to the left side. Strambler on him defensively. Case fakes. Now passes it is intercepted. No, it's incomplete. James Ward had a shot at it. I don't know if it was tipped or if Case just didn't get a good grip on the ball.
I don't know. Let me watch again here. No, he's not hitting, I don't think. Yeah, he is. His arm's hit
right as he threw, yeah.
His arm was hit. Threw it right to Ward, but he couldn't hang on.
4th and 7. Shane Wells will come on. He will spot the ball at the 33. So this is a 43-yard field goal attempt for Wells. Shane is 6 of 9, his longest 44 yards against Lee earlier this season.
He has a crossing wind right now.
Case to hold, snap back, ball down. The kick is up, and it is good. Shane Wells, the 43-yard field goal. And one thing you need to remember, we're playing on a Texas Tech campus where the field goal is about 4 yards narrower than the high school field goal.
Well, I tell you what, that was a beautiful kick. He got it right through the middle of the uprights.
So a 43-yard field goal tacks on 3 more for Permian, and with 3:59 to go in the first half, the Panthers have a 10-0 lead over Lee. The drive started from the 46-yard line. Permian was hurt by a big penalty on that play, which brought back the ball from the 10, but they do convert 3 points out of it.
Well, Kirk, so far we've had some great offensive action, but defense has been the name of this ball game on both sides at this point. Lee Rebels defense playing very, very well up to this point. The difference has been Permian's ability to throw the ball some.
You saw Marlon Henry, sophomore, back to receive this kick for the Rebels.
The Lee Rebels also had a good pass play or two along the way.
Yes, they did. There's the kick by Wells, and he puts this one into the end zone. The Rebels will keep it right there. Shane Wells pumped up after that field goal.
Right, he may be a sophomore, but he said, no, I'm not coming out of here. I'd like to play again tomorrow.
There's a timeout on the field with 3 minutes and 59 seconds left to go in the first half. Permian leads 10-0. This is a Super 7 Sports production. Kirk Kaiser along with Don Scott as Patton hands the ball off. Rebels keep it on the ground. Steve Kelly right in the middle of that play as the Rebels pick up 5 yards.
Good 5-yard play out of the wishbone. It's what Coach Miller likes to see. 3 minutes and 39 seconds left in the first half of play. A very quick first half. The Lee Rebels very, very much would like to get something on the board in this drive. 3 minutes and 29 seconds now going. They've got time to do it.
Brian Martin will line up wide to left side. Courtney Turner passes it. It's knocked in the air. Intercepted by Permian at the 31-yard line. Permian comes down with the ball. It's Brian Tucker with his second interception of the year.
All right. This is a pass that Courtney Turner sure would like to have back. He sidearmed it, and then it was tipped. The ball came out of there very low. Daniels tipped the ball. Brian Tucker played the tip drill.
Permian took advantage of the first turnover and scored 7. They have the ball now in an excellent position to try to tack on more at the Lee 31-yard line with a 1st and 10. 3:14 left in the first half of play. Permian trying to add to a 10-0 lead. Case up the middle to Williams. Williams takes the ball down to the 26-yard line. John Williams tackled by Bernard Oldham.
Well, that puts them back in Will's field goal range.
You see Michael Comer coming out, Bergen coming in, 2:45 and counting, as Permian has the ball 2nd and 6 at the 27-yard line. Kendrick Parent will go wide to the right side. Case pitches the ball to Hamilton. Hamilton gets one block up the middle inside the 20-yard line. Hamilton down to the 12. Rod Strambler brings Hamilton to the turf, but not before he picks up the first down at the 12-yard line.
Great moves here by Hamilton. The first was right there. Then another one he makes right here as he steps aside. And then he gives Strambler a shoulder that gives him another 4 yards.
Permian knocking on the door after a 14-yard pickup by senior Malcolm Hamilton.
Permian's first touchdown came after a Lee fumble. This time a Lee interception setting up this drive.
Flags will fly. Permian jumping off sides on the left side. So 1st and 10 will become 1st and 15 back to the 17-yard line. Clock will stop. 2:04 to go in the half.
Well, one of the linemen just got a little off on the snap count that time. They had a shift in the formation. They shifted 2 backs over again to that power wing set. Single back in the backfield and a power wing set. They puts an awful lot of blocking at the corner.
Parrott left, Bergen right. Williams and Hamilton behind Stormy Case. That's Malcolm Hamilton trying to break free, and he'll take it down to the 15. Henry Stewart hanging on, bringing Malcolm Hamilton to the AstroTurf.
Tremendous defensive effort by the Lee Rebels. I mean, they're just not going to let them get outside. They're keeping Permian speed in front of them. That's the way you've got to do it when the other team's a little faster than you are, just to keep their speed in front of you.
We're a minute and 22 seconds away from halftime. We're expecting a great halftime show by 2 of the finest bands from around the state. Right now, 2 of the finest teams around the state are still going at it on the AstroTurf at Jones Stadium. That's Wagner in motion. Case rolls out to the right side, looking for Wagner, who's wide open. Case will run with the ball. Case inside the 10, takes it down to the 6-yard line. Mike Brackens brings him down.
Boy, was Wagner open, though. My goodness. Permian calls a timeout here as there is 51 seconds left in the first half of play. Case decides to run here, but he did have a receiver just as open as he could be. I think Case really felt like he could get in. Earl Miller is not happy.
James Ward falling on top of Stormy Case. That's third time this year.
Earl's talking to his cornerback and his defensive end, and a linebacker and another back. And Earl's saying, now look it, boys, you got to do it my way or this ain't going to work.
51 seconds left in the half. Permian, the 10-0 lead, and they are 6 yards away from tacking on more, but they're faced with a 3rd and 4.
Earl's all the way out to the numbers on the field talking to him. And boy, is he talking. Official came over and said, Coach, you can't have this conversation out here. You got to have that on the sideline. Earl a little, he's into the game very well.
Animated is the word.
Yes, well, animated among other things. I think it was a little intense.
Intense?
I think he was incensed about the play is what I think. A little unhappy there.
So after the timeout, Permian up to the line of scrimmage on 3rd and 4 from the lead 6. Case of the power eye behind him. Hands it off to Hamilton. Inside the 5. He will be stopped short of a first down by about a yard.
That's going to set up a 4th down and 1. I would anticipate the kicking team on the field. I don't know.
Timeout called by Permian. The ball will be spotted at the 4.
Well, Tam Hollingshead has given no indication of sending his kicker out there.
2-yard kicker makes it 4th and 2.
Here we go. Now the kicker comes on. We're going to see another field goal attempt, but boy, it is a steep angle. He will really have to hook this thing back in.
Shane Wells had a 44-yard field goal the first time against Lee and a 19-yarder. He's trying to have another 2 field goal game against the Rebels. His first one here today was a 43 yards. This time the ball will be spotted at the 11, making it a 21-yard attempt.
Well, he is really going to have to pull this ball back to his left because he is on the hash mark, and remember, these goalposts are very narrow. These are not the standard high school goalposts, but the collegiate variety. They're about 4 yards narrower.
Stormy Case with the hold. Snap back, ball down. The kick is good. With 34 seconds left to go before the half, the Permian Panthers have tacked on 3 more, courtesy of Shane Wells, a 21-yard field goal, and it's 13-0.
Earl Miller said before this game started that the Lee Rebels could not make mistakes and win the ball game. They have made 2 mistakes. It's cost them 10 points so far.
So the Rebels with 34 seconds to see what they can do in the final moments of this first half of play. And don't forget to stay around for halftime. We'll show you the Lee Rebel Band and the Permian Panther Band as well.
I believe Lee Rebel Band will be first, and then the Permian Band. Lee Rebel Band all decked out with Santa Claus hats on. That's a nice touch, seeing as we're rapidly approaching Christmas.
So the ball again falls off the tee as Shane Wells will need a little bit of help right now. The wind down on the field has caused a little bit of a problem with the kicking game. But Wells has had a good day, a great punt of, what did I say, 55 yards?
Yeah, 65 yards.
65, great
With the net
punt.
on it. Well, that was including the penalty, so a 50-yard punt.
2 field goals. This kick goes in and out of the end zone. Brackens watches it go by him. So again, Wells does his job. And with 34 seconds left, the Lee offense will get back out on the field. First and 10 Rebels. They'll start from the 20-yard line. And it is Jimmy Patton that is in there at quarterback right now. Patton will have Ryan Tucker tied on the left, or on the right, not even on the left side as Roy Robinson gets the call. Michael Comer makes the hit.
The clock continues to move. 24 seconds left in the first half of play. The Lee Rebels show no inclination of wanting to stop the clock here. Permian certainly doesn't. So I don't think we will have another play as there's only 13 seconds left. Well, the Rebels are breaking the huddle and coming up the line of scrimmage with 6 seconds.
Patton gets the play away, up the middle. Dedrick will be stopped, and that'll be the last play of the first half. The first half of play has the Permian Panthers on top of the Lee Rebels. After two...
Mighty Panthers from Mojo Land will be the ones that the football again to start the second half. As the Lee Rebels won the initial toss, they decided they wanted to defend the south goal, take the wind in the first half of play. In the second half of play, of course, the Permian Panthers had their choice. They will receive. Lee Rebels are coming out on the field. Official attendance in today's game, 28,441 people came through the turnstile. That does not include the bands, the cheerleaders, the pep club, ball club, the media, and all the others. So over 30,000 people very easily within the stands today. That's a huge crowd for a high school football game.
It's a great crowd. They've seen a good football game. Permian with the 13-0 lead at the half right now over the Lee Rebels. And Don, we have some halftime statistics. You see the sign there which Lee read through saying that Lee has more than magic. And now, dear Santa, we want it all from the Permian Panthers.
Okay, some first half stats for you, Kurt Kaiser. Of course, Permian leading 13-0. They have 7 down, first downs to 3 for the Lee Rebels. 129 yards rushing for Permian. Lee has 52 yards rushing. Permian picked up another 47 yards net passing and 16 yards net passing for Lee. So a total of 176 yards total offense for the Permian Panthers to 68 yards total offense for the Lee Rebels. The passing stats, Gates has had 3 completions out of 7 attempts for 47 yards, 1 touchdown. Turner has had 5 attempts, completed 1, had 1 interception for a total of 16 yards. Punting has been fairly even. Wells, 34-yard average on 3 punts. Lucas has a 35-yard average on 3 punts. So that part of it's fairly even.
The Permian Panthers scored first, and actually they have the only scoring, of course, with a 13-0 score. But they scored their first touchdown with a 60-yard drive right near the end of the first quarter of play. Will Wagner, a 17-yard touchdown pass from Stormy Case. And Permian had the early 7-0 lead. After that, it was 2 field goals. A 43-yard field goal by Shane Wells, and then a 21-yard field goal. So Wells, he kicked 2 field goals the first time these two teams met. He has kicked 2 field goals today, his 7th and 8th field goals of the year.
And they saw it all as our truck did an excellent job. The guys in the truck doing a great job today.
And the Lee Rebels will kick it off here to begin the third quarter, giving Permian the ball back. The third quarter for the Rebels has been a good one. Lee has trailed in a game only 2 times this year. Week number 5, they trailed Abilene Cooper 14-7. And then versus Permian the first time, they trailed 16-0 after the first quarter. Those are the only 2 times in which the Rebels have trailed. The Rebels have scored at least 13 third-quarter points in 7 of their 13 games, so the third quarter has been a good one. Special thanks once again to Barry Sykes, providing us with much of our statistical information once again this week. And Barry is doing the color commentary for the Diamond Shamrock people, who are providing the games on the statewide network.
And are giving us permission to do this game on television.
And we appreciate that very much. Todd Meade appreciates the hold, which will provide him the kick, and there it goes down the field. John Williams under it in the end zone, lets it go through his hands, and he will down at the end zone. So Permian will start it 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line.
Well, Permian Panthers, of course, have been a good ball club in all quarters this year, but the third quarter has been rather good for them also.
Permian has scored 109 points in the third quarter of play. Double figures 5 times this year out of their 13 victories.
Well, the one thing that you must understand about that Permian stat, though, is many of those games for the third quarter, you were watching the third string.
And the defensive total there, Permian has only let up 6 points in the third quarter all year long. Panthers keep it on the ground with a 5-yard pickup as John Williams takes it out to the 25-yard line. There is a flag on the play. Jake Crouch makes the stop that time for Lee.
Lee Rebels once again in that stacked defense, stacked to the strong side. Permian brings it back to their weak side. The penalty is against Lee. That's the way we started off the first part of the ball game. Another offsides on the first play, offside on the first play of the game, offsides on the Lee defense on the first play of the second half.
I mentioned the Permian's only given up 6 points in the third quarter. Those 6 were by Amarillo Tascosa in the by-district playoff game.
And Earl Miller signaling in the defense that he wants to run this time.
So Permian will have it 1st and 5 from their own 25-yard line. Stormy Case, the power eye, double tight end set. Puts Bergen in motion. Pitches the ball back to Williams. Williams hit once and will pull his head away to the 28-yard line. Finally dragged down by Bernard Oldham. Williams and Hamilton in the backfield.
Hamilton comes out here and misses his block, which makes him real unhappy. But he reached out ahead, tried to tackle him, actually. It's a good thing he missed because that official was standing right there.
3-yard pickup for John Williams. It'll be 2nd and 2 Permian at their own 28-yard line. 11:05 and counting left in the third quarter. First offensive series of the quarter. As Case hands the ball up the middle. Very close to a first down. Looks like they'll have it just across the 30-yard line.
Brings that just across the 30-yard line, which will give him a first down. Where they mark the ball. So the Permian Panthers starting out with a little bit better drive than they did the first time they had the ball in the first half. They had to punt after 3 downs that time. Lee Rebel defense is playing extremely well today. They've given Permian some different looks and some things that have made it a little tough for Permian to solve.
1st and 10 Permian at the 30. Bergen goes in motion. Wagner is wide to the left side. Bergen turns upfield, stops quickly before the pitch comes to Williams. Williams gets a block. Williams down the sidelines. He's at the 30, and that's a mojo touchdown for John Williams.
Clean field, no flag.
A 70-yard touchdown run, and Permian goes up 19-0.
Watch this right now. You can't see it. The linebacker for Lee shifted from an outside position to an inside position just before the snap of the ball. Moved right out of the hole they were running to, and that's what happens when you start playing games of defense.
I don't know if you know how close that play came to being called back, though, because Bergen went in motion, turned upfield a little early, stopped on a dime. He almost went across the line.
Just stopped and stood there, which saved him.
So Permian strikes quickly in the third quarter to increase their halftime lead. Shane Wells will try to tack on the extra point. Out of the Case hole, the extra point is good. With 10 minutes and 9 seconds left to go in the third quarter, the Permian Panthers have broken out with a 20-0 lead over the Lee Rebels. Watch the touchdown one more time to
Great
John
block
Williams.
right here by Malcolm Hamilton. He got a great job of blocking on the cornerback, which broke it wide open. There was simply no one on the field with enough speed to catch Williams. Well, that's going to help Williams' stats a little bit. The sophomore record is going higher and higher. He had 32 yards in the first half, so he's about 100 yards for the game right now.
And Malcolm Hamilton continues to add to his totals. Malcolm comes in now in career stats as one of the top rushers in Permian history. In fact, he is now number 5 on the list when the game started. How many yards does Malcolm have?
He had 86 yards in the first half.
That makes him number 4 on the list. And 86 yards puts him just 6 yards away from becoming number 3.
The kickoff. Oh, he's got some room to run.
That's Marlon Henry tripped up at the 40-yard line by kicker Shane Wells.
Well, I tell you what, it's a good thing Shane Wells got there because just about everybody else was either out of position or on the turf. Watch the blocking here. Some great blocking by the Lee Rebels as they break him open a hole. And if Wells doesn't get out there to get him, he's got at least another 10 yards before anybody can catch him.
Marlon Henry, a sophomore. The Rebels looking for big things from him in the future. And as a freshman, Jimmy Patton at quarterback, hands the ball off in a big hole. Court Peterson makes the touchdown, along with Steve Kelly. But now before there's a big gain on the play.
Well, I said he makes a touchdown, he saved the touchdown. Well, saved the touchdown there. But watch this.
Roy Robinson, the ball carrier.
Roy Robinson doing a great job of running some good blocking at the point of attack. And there is somebody down on the field, or no, they're just trying to spot the ball and measure to see if it is a first down. Very, very close.
Clock has stopped with 9 minutes and 37 seconds left to go in the third quarter.
I can't see anything.
Looks like it'll be second down in inches.
An inch,
for the Rebels, as the ball will be spotted just short of the 50-yard line.
Okay, make it an inch and 3/4.
That's, I guess that's inches, yeah.
It's more than an inch. Less than 3. Goodness. So, got to give him 10 yards on that pickup. Actually, official statistician will only give him 9.
Sophomore Courtney Turner is in at quarterback right now.
Getting the chain set or reset. Now, the officials want to have a conference. Now they're going to flag again. "15 seconds back on the clock." Okay.
So now we play Watch the Clock as it goes to 9:52.
Okay. There we go.
And they'll start to run it now, as you see John Williams getting a break on the sidelines after a 70-yard touchdown run. Moving along the line, flags will fly. That'll go against the Rebels. The right side of the lead defense or offensive line jumps.
That looked like a laundry fire drill. Goodness gracious. And somebody's got a great arm. Watch the one flag comes in the middle, another from the left, no, one from the right, and one from the rear.
Play-by-play in the flag department. So instead of second and inches, it's second and 5 and inches.
5 and an inch.
Yeah.
5 yards and an inch. How many times do we really know that it's 5 yards and an inch?
This time we do. Clock is running with 9:35 to go in the third quarter. Patton at quarterback now. Rebels keep it on the ground. Big play by Brian Tucker.
Boy, Brian Tucker has just played and played and played this year, the entire year. Done an outstanding job. This is his 3rd year to start for the Permian Panthers. At that time, he did it just textbook style. He shuts the blocker, throws him off to the inside, steps over the hole, and makes the tackle. Great job. Brian Tucker, an outstanding football player.
And it'll be unusual next year to not have Brian Tucker in there.
He's been there forever.
3 years he's played at Permian High School. Coming down the 9-minute mark. 3rd and 2. What a play by the Permian defense that time. It was Michael Comer right in the middle that stopped Sherman Dedrick.
Boy,
bringing up a 4th down.
Dedrick just knew he had this 1st down, and he just sick about it.
And the Permian fans saluting the defensive effort, and number 45, middle linebacker, right in the middle of it.
Tell you what, I mean, that really hurts, because they really felt like they could move the ball here, and had been able to move the ball quite a bit. But not that time.
So it'll be Darrell Lucas back to punt. Again, averaging over 38 yards per kick. Will Wagner back to receive it. End over end kick. Wagner comes up and catches it at 22, where he's down immediately.
Well, Will Wagner did not signal for a fair catch, I don't think. I didn't see it, if he did. No, there's no signal for a fair catch. He is down, basically, when he gets hit, but that's close.
Henry Stewart made the tackle. 8-12 to go in the third quarter. Permian leading at 20-0, and they'll start the drive from their own 21-yard line. Permian scoring quickly the last time with a 70-yard touchdown run by John Williams. Now they like to grind it out and run some time off that clock with the lead. Stormy Case sends Kendrick Paradell wide to left side. Case up the middle with room for John Williams. There's a fumble on the play, and Lee has recovered it. Lee gets the ball back at the Permian 34. Jake Crouch fell on the football for the Rebels. The first turnover against Permian.
I got to watch this one more time. He's hit right there, and he is, well.
Yeah, there goes the ball.
There goes the ball. He wasn't down. He sure wasn't moving forward when the ball came out, but he was not down.
So the Permian defense that did such a good job last time called on now with Lee starting for the Permian 34-yard line.
That's Permian's first mistake of the ball game.
First and 10 Rebels at the Mojo 34. Courtney Turner at quarterback. Put Jeff Honeyman in motion now. Honeyman lines up tight on the right side. Long count. Turner back to throw. Looking downfield. Has a man. Honeyman is open. And he misses it inside the 5. Will Wagner defending on the play. Swiped to the ball. May have interfered with the vision as Jeff Honeyman was trying to look back for the football.
Which is perfectly legal, by the way, in high school football. He swiped at it and probably did interfere with his vision, but that is legal in high school football. We're not playing in the NFL. The last time I checked.
So the clock will stop with 7:58.
Whoops, there goes the ball.
To go in the third quarter.
The ball that's rolled 2 or 3 yards downfield.
Usually we have the wind problems up on top of the press box. Today, it's not so bad up here. Down on the field, though, it's been more of a problem.
There comes the chop again. I love that almost as much as the wave.
Second and 10 Rebels at the Permian 34. Sullivan and Tucker go to the right side. Courtney Turner pitches the ball back to Dedrick. Gets one block. Dedrick inside the 30. Looking down the sidelines. He is out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Steve Kelly finally pushes Sherman Dedrick out, but he picks up a bundle and takes it to the 16. 17-yard or 18-yard pickup for Sherman Dedrick.
First time today that the Lee Rebels have been inside the Permian 20-yard line. Permian made a mistake. They fumbled the football, and the Lee Rebels are trying to capitalize.
7:50 to go in the third. Lee trailing 20-0, trying to come from behind. As it's Jimmy Patton in at quarterback now. Second man, Sullivan gets the ball. He takes it to the 10. Brett Sullivan with the carry. Just inside the 10-yard line, Sam Brooks stops him.
And boy, if you wanted to see it blocked, you should have seen the block that was thrown by Casey Jones that time. Casey Jones drove his man, who was trying to see who it was there. Sam Brooks drove Sam Brooks back 5 yards.
Second and 3, Turner at quarterback. Second man, Sullivan gets the ball, trying to go inside the 5. He is knocked out of bounds at the 2 by Steve Kelly. It'll be first and goal Rebels at the 2-yard line.
The Lee Rebels are pouring it on here, and they're taking advantage of a Permian mistake. Marked him out of bounds at the 2-yard line.
Jimmy Patton comes in at quarterback. First and goal, Lee at the 2. Patton pitches the ball back. Sherman Dedrick is stopped. He'll be pushed back for a loss of a yard on the play. Dedrick hit hard by Brian Tucker and Ephraim Marino. Flags come in late on the play.
I mean, it went a long ways. He's pointing, I think, at Permian, but I can't tell for sure.
It will go against the Panthers.
It's a dead ball.
Personal foul called against Permian.
Automatic first down at the 1.5-yard line. The length of the penalty is not as big as the fact that it makes it a first down once again. The ball at the 1.5. I'm not sure what the foul was. I personally did not see it. It was not at the tackle.
First and goal at the 1. And the quarterback. Flag fly. There's a fumble, but Permian will be offsides on the play, it looked like.
It appeared that Permian came. It appeared that Comer tried to time that one, and he was offsides. I don't know. Let's watch it one more time. Well, we just can't really pick it up. Really hit in the backfield. Calling a penalty against the Permian Panthers for offsides. Said that Comer moved a little quick. Comer was just about to try to, he was trying to time that play.
So the Lee Rebels will have it first and goal again at the 1-yard line. 6.5 minutes left in the third quarter. Permian leading 20-0. Lee trying to put their first points on the board. Pat, move it along the line. Permian gets back. Flag will fly. As Scott McLeod is in the lineup, but it looks like Permian may have been offsides one more time. And Will Wagner is coming out of the lineup. Wagner is hurt, holding his right shoulder. Doc Allen quickly out there.
That's the same shoulder he got a stinger on last week, and it's the same one again this week. He's moving it around. Don't think it is a serious injury, but it's going to keep him out for a play or two. Well, now with this penalty, the ball is so close to the goal line. I bet you they can't mark off another one.
No, they can't.
Not move the ball.
They're out of room. So 3 Permian penalties in a row. You've heard it before. First and goal at the 1. Pat. Hands it off, and the Rebels have scored. They're dancing in Dixie as Lee puts their first points on the board. With 6 minutes and 1 second left to go in the third quarter, it's now 20-6.
Well, the Lee Rebels just wedged that one out. They had about the length of the football to go to the end zone, and they wedged it out. Permian hurt themselves badly with 3 penalties there. One of them a big personal foul penalty.
John Meade on to try to tack on the extra point, which he will do. 6 minutes, 1 second left to go in the third quarter. Lee has come back to make it a 20-7 ball game in favor of the Permian Panthers with a timeout on the field. We'll take time as well. This is the Super 7 Sports Production.
Here we are back at the game where it's 6 minutes and 1 second left in the third quarter, and now we have a 20-7 count for the Lee Rebels as they took advantage of a Permian miscue. They fumbled the ball on about the 30-yard line, 32-yard line, drove the ball down, punched it in the end zone, and that means that we're really got a ball game back on our hands.
We can get a shot at Tam Hollingshead. Well, it's now ended. Tam Hollingshead had 2 of the referees, and he wasn't discussing where to eat in Lubbock.
He was not
happy. He was a little unhappy. Yeah, there's Strambler back deep for Permian.
He's still talking to the referee. He walked down to the other end of the field, followed him down to about the 40-yard line, and said something else to him. One of the other coaches stepped up and said something also.
Alan Strambler playing for Permian. Rod Strambler for Lee. They're cousins on opposing sides. There's a kick by Meade. It'll go out of bounds, out of the end zone, over the head of John Williams. And Permian will start it from the 20. So this game has turned around as it's really been a case of taking advantage of mistakes, Don.
Well, it has been on both sides. The Permian touchdown, one of their field goals resulted after Lee miscues, a fumble and an interception. Then Permian fumble, Lee scores. Those who make the fewest mistakes come out with the mostest points. How's that?
I like that. English teachers won't, but it makes sense. First and 10 from the 20. 6:01 to go in the third. Stormy Case puts Bergen in motion. Case pitches the ball back to Malcolm Hamilton. Upfield to the 27-yard line. Hamilton hit it at 25, went ahead before Mark Seidenberger finally stopped him.
Give him a pickup of about 7 on the plate. We were wondering what the personal foul was. One of our spotters up here in the booth said that there was a bit of fisticuffs following the play down toward the goal line.
2nd and 3 for Permian from their own 27-yard line. Will Wagner continues to try to work off that shoulder injury. Moving on the sideline. Case, flags will fly. The pitch back to John Williams. Another flag comes in. Williams has a first down, but check out 2 penalty flags. Looks like it'll go against Permian.
Holding against Permian. One of them holding against Permian. I have no idea what the first one was. The late flag was a holding call against Permian. Holding against Permian that way. Offsides against Lee that way. They offset, so there will be a second down, and we'll do it again. That's a do it again, do it again, do it again.
Is that a cheer? Were you a cheerleader in school, Don?
No.
That doesn't surprise me.
No, they... no, I didn't do any majoring or...
Let's see, you were a Buffalo in college. What were you in high school?
A demon.
A demon. Ah, well.
A Duncan demon.
2nd and 3 from the 27-yard line under the 5-minute mark. Bergen in motion behind Stormy Case. Bruce James gives the ball back to Case, who in turn puts it to Hamilton.
Who has the first down out of bounds Hamilton at the 32-yard line.
Henry Stewart pushes Malcolm Hamilton out. Clock will stop. 4 minutes, 44 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter.
Actually, Lee defense is in pretty good position to stop that, but Strampler took a little bit too much of an inside position. Got trapped in there. Allowed Hamilton to get outside of him.
So the drive continues out to the 32-yard line, where it's 1st and 10. John Williams, the only one behind Stormy Case. That's Hamilton in motion. Fake. The other way, it's to Timmy Ross. Ross has a big hole. Ross at the 40 goes ahead to the 42. Timmy Ross with 3rd effort may have got a first down. Another flag comes in.
And there was a punch thrown out there. I saw that one, my friend. I mean, there is a good punch thrown on this one.
There's Timmy Ross. Spinning ahead.
Right there. See that? You can't do that, folks.
So the clock stops with 4:34 left in the 3rd. It's been a long 3rd quarter, and mostly that is because of the yellow flags. We've had a lot of them here in the 3rd.
Emotions are getting a little high, and there's been some extremely hard hitting.
15-yard mark-off against Lee. Will take the ball into Lee territory.
The dead ball foul. That was one of those, you just simply cannot throw a punch, hit a guy in the face mask, and shove him over backwards. They'll nail you every time. Without fail.
So Permian has the ball 1st and 10 at the Rebel 43-yard line. Clock is running, less than 4.5 minutes to go in the 3rd. Tight formation for the Panthers.
2 tight ends there.
Bergen in motion. Case pitches the ball back to Williams. Williams spins for a couple. Mark Seidenberger spins him around and brings him down. Just inside the 42-yard line. Pick up about a yard, so it'll be 2nd and 9.
That was just an excellent defensive play by the Lee Rebels this time. They fight off the block, then Seidenberger fights off the block outside and makes the tackle. Played it absolutely perfect. Great job. He's played a tremendous ball game today.
Kendrick Perrin will go to the left. Strambler goes out to defend against him. The pitch to Hamilton. Hamilton breaks 1 tackle, 2. Hamilton inside the 40. 2 very tough yards, maybe 3 for Malcolm Hamilton. James Ward and Mark Seidenberger, 2 linebackers combined for the Rebels. And it's 3rd down.
You know what's amazing about about this is Seidenberger comes from this side of the field to get over there and get in on the tackle.
Mike Bracken's also there. 3rd and 6 at the Lee 39. Case to throw. Look for Parrott, incomplete.
Well, now you got a tough call. It's 4th down. You're on the 39-yard line. You've been averaging about 36 yards a punt. Do you punt it? Do you go for it? Looks like they're going to punt it.
This is where you do one of those coffin corner kicks if you're Permian.
Either that or a 56-yard field goal. We could go for
Yeah.
that. You know, 56 yards, what's that? It's time to punt the football.
Jason Cochran coming off the field there. Here's Shane Wells to get the kick away from just inside Lee territory. Good snap. Rushed. High kick. Will angle its way out of bounds. No, it's not out of bounds yet. It's inside the 10, down at the 5-yard line. The Permian kick coverage does their job, as Wells put it high enough in the air that the kick coverage had time to get downfield.
Well, everybody released. They almost got to Wells, but he managed to get it off. And several people got up and turned around facing the ball and caught it on the 5-yard line.
The winner of this game will play the winner of the Dallas-Carter-Waco game. And by the time you see this broadcast, you'll know how that came out. When and where, still to be decided. 1st and 10 Lee at the 5. Rebels keep it on the ground. Will pick up a couple. Tony Daniels making the stop that time.
2 minutes and 32 seconds left in the 3rd quarter of play. 20-7 our score, with the Odessa Permian Panthers leading the Lee Rebels.
So Lee moves the ball out to about the 7-yard line. .205 left in the 3rd. Permian leading 20-7. Defense right there, keeping the Rebels followed up inside the 10-yard line. Hubert Collins and Steve Kelly that time.
I can't tell you who made the tackle. There were a dozen of them.
Hard also up here with the sunshine. We're not complaining about the sunshine. Sometimes it's hard to see the Lee numbers from way up on top of the press box here. I'm not always sure who's carrying the ball. 3rd and 7 for the Rebels. Patton at quarterback, up the middle. The Permian defense has stopped them. Right in the middle, it was Bubba Jones and Sam Brooks was the first one that really made that big hit. And the Permian defense has done their job, and Lee will have to punt from their own end zone.
Great job that time by the Permian defense as they fed it back deep with a punt and then managed to give them only 4 yards. So they're going to be kicking, like you say, the punter will kick from just about his goal line.
Permian back deep to receive, and it is Will Wagner to receive. There's the kick. Wagner gets it at the 49-yard line of Lee. Wagner back to the 45, down to the 43. A flag is down. Another flag is down. The second will be for a late hit, but there's one on the far side of the field. We'll have to check that one out.
And Wagner is not getting up.
And a first half that was a hard football game, but well played, has turned into a lot of mistakes and penalties.
Right. Yeah, there's one right there on the end of the play, and that's the one that kept Wagner on the turf. There's an earlier flag on the other side I would expect to be an illegal block.
It's that shoulder again that they're looking at on Will Wagner.
Ooh, they're going to enforce both of them. One of them's a live ball foul against Lee. The second is a dead ball foul against Lee. That's going to move the ball down to somewhere around the 20-yard line.
Will Wagner, a key member of this football team for Permian, is still down. Wagner hurt his shoulder in the first quarter last week against Arlington Lamar. He came back to have a great day. 5 receptions last week.
Well, I'm not sure it's the shoulder this time. He may not be able to find enough air to breathe because he really caught that right on top of his chest.
And the Permian cheerleader is watching on.
Okay,
Hoping that Will Wagner gets up.
They marched off the foul against them. Yeah, that's the line ball foul. Now they're going to pick it up and march off the 15 yards back the other way, which is going to leave it about a net 2-yard penalty.
I said Wagner 5 catches last week. Will with 3 catches for 55 yards last week against Arlington Lamar in the 25-7 win.
The only thing in that march back and forth, if you're wondering why they did that, is because they're keeping very close track of first downs because that is one of the tiebreakers. Permian does get a first down out of that. In other words, they get the penalty, and that's where the ball is then placed, and then they pick it up, march off 15. So Permian gets a penalty first down is what it amounts to.
So Will Wagner is up. Doc Allen takes him to the sidelines. You can see they're continuing to work with him.
Little trouble getting any air in him. I really believe that was the major part of the problem because he was laying flat on his back.
They also may be looking at his hand. We're not sure if...
Well, he came down right on top of him. His hands, of course, were folded across his chest holding the ball.
So it's 1st and 10. Permian will start from the lead 42-yard line with 40 seconds left in the third quarter. Permian leading it 20-7. Bergen goes in motion. Case pitching the ball back to Hamilton. Hamilton upfield. Hamilton down inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. Good 14-yard pickup for Malcolm Hamilton.
Some good blocks thrown that time, and it's some great running by Hamilton. Watch this block right here. It does a good job of breaking him around the corner, but then Hamilton just runs over a couple of people.
Seidenberger and Stewart making the stop. 30 seconds left in the third. 1st and 10 Permian at the lead 28-yard line as Tam Hollingshead watches his offense. Barrett goes wide to the left side. Case up the middle. Hamilton to the 24. James Ward with the tackle.
Just straight ahead blast play, and that'll be the last play of the third quarter as there are 4 seconds and counting down. So stats at the end of the third quarter, of course, Permian leading. They're leading in penetrations 3-1, and in first down 12-6. And go ahead.
2nd and 6. Permian. Case keeps the ball. Case has the field in front of him, inside the 10. He's pushed out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Rod Strambler saves 6 on a great fake again by Stormy Case. 2nd week in a row they've used that play.
Then naked reverse. Watch this. Everything goes to the right except Case, and he comes to the left. Great fake and just a naked reverse out here. He scored on it last week against Arlington Lamar, and he gets all the way to the 1-yard line this time.
A generous spot for the Panthers that time. Looks like he's done it before. They've given the 1.
At this point, there are 10 penalties against Permian, 7 against Midland Lee.
1st and goal, Permian at the 1. Case, Hamilton, that's a mojo touchdown. Malcolm Hamilton, the 1-yard run, and it's 26-7, mojo.
Well, the Permian Panthers finally are able to answer that lead score. I guess the thing that is amazing, in the first half we had very, very few penalties. The second half, we're inundated with them.
Scoring drive for Permian, 4 plays, 42 yards. It took 50 seconds to punch it in. Shane Wells comes on. No, he doesn't. Permian will be going for 2 here with a 26-7 lead. Right. The pitch comes back to Hamilton, and the 2-point conversion is good. Malcolm Hamilton takes it in, and Permian adds to the lead. It's now 28-7. Lee, a full 3 touchdowns behind.
But you've got to watch Malcolm Hamilton at the end of this play. I've seen people dive in the end zone, but he jumped feet first. Watch this. He jumped right in the middle of a lead player, feet first. The end of the play. Watch. They're shoved back to the end zone. You just jump in there feet first. Boy, that's hard on your stomach. Oh.
So the 11 minutes and 50 seconds left in the game, Permian is in control, 28-7.
Well, you know, scoreboard-wise, they're in control 28-7. However, the Lee Rebels have shown some offensive life in this second half of play. You've got to feel like Permian is probably going to win the ball game at this point, but you can't count the Rebels out.
Malcolm Hamilton, 125 yards on the day. And with that gain for Hamilton, he will become the third leading rusher in Permian history. As Hamilton is in pretty good company right now. Number one on that list is Sean Crow with 2,288. Chris Comer, 2,135. And then Malcolm Hamilton will be over the 1,600 mark. Brackens fumbles the ball out of the end zone. So Lee will go ahead and start it from the 20.
Well, I'll tell you this much. Regardless of who wins the ball game, the Permian Basin has got two football teams to be very, very proud of. District 4-5A has got 3 or 4 teams to be very, very proud of. The 3 that are in the playoffs, still playing today, plus the Odessa High Broncos, because once again, the only 4 teams to beat Odessa High all year long are still playing today.
Flags all over the field.
Well, they had the world moving. Not sure what you call that one.
Malcolm Hamilton, 1,640 yards on the year in this, the 14th game of the season.
Right. I understand that the call on the penalty is false start. However, when there's a whole whack of them, you got to have a better call than first this false start, folks.
So it's 1st and 15. Patton at quarterback, hands the ball off.
Whoa.
6-yard pickup out to the 21-yard line for Sherman Dedrick. It's Steve Kelly and Sam Brooks combining on the hit.
Sherman
Dedrick isn't up.
Slow getting up here. He may have rolled over on this football. I'm not sure. I take another look at it, how he's hit. Boy, he's hit hard. Got really racked hard there.
6-yard pickup for Sherman Dedrick. Sherman came in as the #1 rusher this year for Lee. He started the day with just over 800 yards. Trainer Charles Harrington is on there right now for the Rebels. And that's a part of the game which often goes overlooked. The work that the trainers and managers do for both of these teams is an outstanding and very integral part of the football team.
I can't tell what he's checking. He's helping him up now. Oh, it's his leg, evidently.
So Sherman Dedrick will be helped to the sidelines. Hopefully he'll return with a 2nd and 9, 6-yard pickup by Dedrick.
I'm not sure it's not a hip pointer. He got hit about the hip with a helmet. And the way he's walking, that just very well may be that he has got a hip pointer employed as that hurt.
It'll be 2nd and 9 Rebels from the 21-yard line, their own 21, and the 11:37 left to go in the game. Courtney Turner is in at quarterback, has the wishbone behind him, double tight end. Turner with room. That's Brett Sullivan. Forced out of bounds in Permian territory at the 42 by Court Peterson. And what a burst by Sullivan.
11 minutes and 24 seconds. As I said, this game's not over yet. The Lee Rebels still have plenty of time to put points on the board. Missed tackle right there that allowed Sullivan to get on downfield. Court Peterson did a good job of pinning him to the sideline.
A 37-yard gain for Brett Sullivan and Lee Rebels. 1st and 10 at the Permian 42. Up the middle to Robinson, who takes it inside the 40, down to about the 39-yard line.
11:15 left in the ball game.
The clock continues to move as the Rebels keep it on the ground. Scott McLeod and Courtney Turner check in the lineup. Robinson goes out. 2nd and 7 at the 39. Now Sullivan and Tucker split out the left side. Turner up the middle. A flag comes in late.
Real late.
Marino with the stop as the ball was taken down to the 36-yard line. The penalty going against Lee.
Holding
called against the Rebels. And this has been a
Well, I tell you what,
penalties in the second half.
Yeah, second half. First half was a relatively minor number of penalties called, but the second half has been penalty city. Of course, I tell you something. There are some tremendous hits going on out there in that line of scrimmage. Not just the tackles, but every snap of the ball. The offensive line, the defensive linemen are having some major collisions out there. And when that happens time after time after time, you know, you sometimes get a little exuberant in your delivery of the initial blow.
Second and 17. Again, it's Sullivan and Tucker out to the left side. Lee at the Permian 49-yard line. Turner to throw. It is completed. Tucker inside the 30, out of bounds at the 28-yard line. Court Peterson pushes him out, but not before a big pickup, a first down pickup for the Rebels. A 21-yard pickup on the play. Clock stop, 10 minutes and 11 seconds to go in the ball game. And a good drive underway for the Lee Rebels right here. Now it's Jimmy Patton that's back in. Rebels cough it up. It's loose. Permian has it. Will Wagner falls on the football. And Permian stops the drive. So the Panthers force their third fumble recovery of the day. And there's Will Wagner. You have to salute that young man just for being back out there.
He's got a shoulder that you and I probably would not go to work with. We'd probably stay at home and cry a lot, ask for a lot of attention. And he's still out there playing football rather well.
Rather well. The Permian offense comes out with a 1st and 10 from their own 23 with 10:05 to go in the game. Permian leading 28-7. That's Bergen in motion behind Stormy Case. Case pitches the ball to Hamilton.
Who's going nowhere.
He dives ahead to the 23, but that's it. 23 was the original line of scrimmage.
Tell you what, this is
Ward made the stop.
Great defense by Ward this time. Ward just was not going to be blocked. Neither was Stewart.
So no gain will make it 2nd and 10. The clock does continue to move. 9:35 and counting left in the ball game. 2nd and 10 from the 23. Wagner in motion. Case looks to throw. Has time. Has a pay. Wide open. Completed to the 38-yard line. Behind everyone was Bergen, who catches it in Lee territory.
If Bergen could have stayed on his feet, he could have walked backwards, baby stepping to the end zone. Believe me. Trust me on this one, folks. He is so wide open, it's a little scary. He is 5 yards, 6 yards behind any lead defender.
A 39-yard pass completion to Bergen. And it's 1st and 10 Permian at the lead 38. 9:05 to go in the game. Case to throw again. Across the middle to Parrott. Incomplete. Tried to hit him at the 10.
Barrett was open on the play.
Chris Conley defending.
Led him a little far in the middle. I mean, he's there. He was throwing it between the two safeties, and that's a tough place to throw. But he was there.
So the clock stops at 8 minutes and 56 seconds to go.
I'll tell you this much, his receiver will thank Case for throwing that low, because if that had been up high, he would have been beheaded.
Case pitches the ball back, and the Rebel defense makes the big play this time. Pushed back all the way to the 47-yard line. It was Mark Seidenberger. And it is John Williams who is down, and he's just a little slow in getting up. John gets up now and heads to the sidelines after the loss on the play.
Well, I'll tell you this much. Seidenberger and Ward have played some tremendous football today for the Lee Rebels. Those two young men are all over the football field. And there goes the football again.
About an 8-yard loss in the play. So it'll be 3rd and 18, back to the 47-yard line. Barrett goes to the right. 3rd and long for Stormy Case and the Permian Panthers. That's Will Wagner in motion. Case looks to the right, gets a block, has time. Underneath the Parrott, it's completed, but well short of a first down. He completes it to the 35-yard line. Mike Brackens was there defensively. It'll be 4th down for Permian.
That's
a 35 play.
Oops. Holding on the black tee.
Holding against the Panthers.
Well, that's going to bring it back. 3rd down and a hooping bunch.
So Tam Hollingshead talking with John Williams. Tony Daniels right behind him there. 8 minutes to go in the game.
If they want to know in the truck how much a hooping bunch is, that's going to be about 20, 30, about 35 yards. About 30 to 35. That's a hooping bunch. I don't care how you count it, friends. It's a long ways to go. That's when you look to the sideline and say, Coach, give me a play. And the coach has got his back turned. He's looking the other way. No help from me. Says, you got in this mess, you get out of it.
Permian will have the ball at their own 32-yard line. To pick up a first down, they need to get to the Lee 28-yard line.
That's what I said.
That's a lot.
That's a hooping bunch.
Bergen is to the left. Timmy Ross is split to the right side. Malcolm Hamilton goes in motion. Fake pitch on the reverse. It's Timmy Ross that has the ball and is brought down. Nice play by James Ward. As Ward was not fooled by the deception.
Well, Ward's just playing his position. He's staying home and taking care of it. The man that was supposed to block him just did not get the block done. If they had gotten Ward on the ground, then he had some room to run.
There's Timmy Ross that goes to the sidelines limping.
I'm not sure they can punt it far enough to get to the first down marker.
Shane Wells will get the kick away from about his own 25-yard line. Good snap. Nice end over end kick. Stewart catching at the 18-yard line. Back to the 22, the 25. Stewart still on his feet. Now he's pushed back. Forward progress will mark him at the 27-yard line. And that's where Lee will start it with 7 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the game.
1 yard past the first down marker. That's a, when you get into those positions, it's money time.
There's Henry Stewart going off.
I tell you what, the Lee Rebels defense leaves trailing 28-7, but you know, a bunch of those points, at least 17 of those points, are due to offensive mistakes. The Lee defense has played extremely well.
Sullivan and Tucker go out to the left side. Sullivan is wide left. Courtney Turner is hit. Fumbles the ball. Permian picks it up.
No, cannot advance it.
Brian Tucker will be down. Tucker makes the recovery, but will not go into the end zone. Permian has got the ball back, though.
You cannot advance a fumble behind the line of scrimmage. If he had fumbled on the other side of the line of scrimmage, then you can advance it for a touchdown. And so
4 turnovers against the Rebels today.
this is, you know, this turnover or this fumble occurs. Now, if Tucker had that 4 or 5 yards further downfield, he could have gone for the touchdown. You cannot advance a fumble from behind the line of scrimmage if you're on the defensive team.
So the Permian offense is back out there with the 1st and 10 at the Lee 25-yard line. Lee trailing Permian 28-7. With the Panthers trying to put the final nail in the Lee coffin for the 1991 season. Kendrick Parrott goes wide to the left side. Stormy Case gives the ball back to Hamilton to take it down to the 21.
6 minutes, 56 seconds left to go in this ball game with the Permian Panthers owning the football and the scoreboard. scoreboard by a 28-7 count. The football on the 21.5-yard line in the Lee end of the football field.
Nathan Lambert made the play that last time for the Rebels.
You know, I'm going to quit keeping all of these penetrations and first downs. We haven't had one of those games yet.
No, we haven't. 2nd and 6, Permian at the lead, 21. The pitch to Williams. Williams takes it inside the 20, still on his feet. Inside the 15, down to the 13. Rod Scrambler brings him down, but what a gutsy run by John Williams.
I'll tell you what, I thought he was stopped about 3 times. I mean, he's hit right here, and I thought he's down. No, he's not down. Well, he's hit again. No, there he goes down finally.
8-yard pickup.
That is another
for
penetration.
John Williams. Yeah. Just in case.
Just in case.
6 minutes to go in the game. Case puts Bergen in motion. Case hands it off. Taking it down inside the 10. Bernard Oldham making the stop that time for the Rebels.
5 minutes and 44 seconds left. Of course, the Permian Panthers right now would love to just grind this out until the clock runs out.
Malcolm Hamilton, the ball carrier. It'll be 2nd and 5. Hamilton's had another big day for Permian. Over the 100-yard mark once again. He scored a touchdown. And there's John Williams with another mojo touchdown. John Williams takes it right up the middle for 6.
Malcolm Hamilton up to 134 yards rushing. And the scoreboard's up to 34 points.
John Williams, his 2nd touchdown run of the day, which gives him 10 on the year. This one an 8-yard run. And with 5 minutes and 16 seconds left, Permian has a 34-7 lead. Shane Wells will try to make it 35.
And the crowd on the Lee side of the field is starting to leave. But tell you what, the Lee Rebels are not going to win this ball game today. But they have had a tremendous season.
The extra point is good by Shane Wells, who is perfect in the extra point department this afternoon. 35-7 with 5:16 left from Jones Stadium in Lubbock. The Permian Panthers on their way to a quarterfinal win and looking ahead to the semifinals next week against the winner of the Dallas Carter-Waco game. There's a timeout in the field. Permian leads at 35-7. This is the Super 7 Sports Production.
Permian lead at this point, 5:16 left in the ball game. I think it's well under control for the Permian Panthers. They'll be advancing to the semifinals as they kick the ball out of the end zone. But the Permian Panthers will play either the Waco team or Dallas Carter. Dallas Carter was leading the last we heard. So I have no idea where that game might be played. If it were Waco, of course, it would be in Odessa. But since we don't know who wins the game, we don't know yet.
You'll be watching this replay on Saturday night, and if Carter does win that game, we still won't know because Permian and Carter won't meet until tomorrow, Sunday.
Right.
And I believe they're meeting in Abilene to decide when and where.
Whoa, what a hit. Oh, what a hit. What a stick out there by number 70 for Permian.
Ray Anderson with the big hit.
Boy, oh boy. No, it's not Anderson that makes the big hit. It's Perez that makes the big hit. Anderson got in on the end of it. But Tony Perez plays rock'em sock'em time.
The Rebels have had problems reversing history as this will be the 8th time Lee has faced an opponent twice in a season, and the 8th time that whatever happened during the regular season happens in the playoffs, either win or loss. Permian defense making the stop that time for about a 2-yard pickup. It'll be 3rd and 4 for Lee.
Well, I will tell you this much. This has been a much better ball game than it was the first time that these two ball clubs met. The Lee Rebels don't look very good on the scoreboard right now, but they have played extremely well. Their defensive effort has been totally outstanding. Offense had some miscues, 4 big turnovers, 3 of which led directly to Permian scores, and that'll kill you.
Permian had a 13-0 lead at the half, a big third quarter, a big 70-yard touchdown run by Williams. Kept him on top, and what a hit by the Panthers that time. Michael Comer, another big game, has been a linebacker, and Lee will be forced to punt.
And Comer is just a sophomore.
Junior,
pardon me. Sorry, Michael. Gonna make you stay at school a year longer. That's all right. See, he spins out of one tackle here, and then here comes Comer, and boy, does he pop him.
And that's Marlon Henry that was hit. Henry is a sophomore for the Rebels. In fact, Lee, a number of very good underclassmen, Don. Courtney Turner, quarterback of the sophomore. Rafiq Hasib, who came in at the guard position the last few weeks, is a sophomore. Ryan Tucker, a junior. He's had some big carries. Sherman Dedrick is a junior. On the defensive side of the football, Nathan Lambert, Bernard Oldham, Tony Olivas, all juniors, along with Rod Scrambler. So the Rebels will lose some very important members of their team, but they have a number of key players. They'll be coming back in 1992.
Well, you know, the old saying is, in District 4-5A, the good teams don't have rebuilding years. They just reload and do it again. And I think that's true for both Permian and Lee for the last 10, 12 years. They don't have a rebuilding year. They just reload, and here we go.
The clock shows 3 minutes and 15 seconds left. Lee will be punting on 4th and 5 with the line of scrimmage at the 25-yard line. There's Michael Comer.
Well, the official that time kicked the ball back. They've got to wait every minute of this timeout. The only reason the timeout was called was to stop the clock.
There are 2 brothers on this team whose older brothers won a state championship in 1989. Stormy Cates, the younger brother of Stoney, the quarterback, and then Chris Comer, running back for the 89 team, is the older brother of Michael Comer. Fair catch called for by Will Wagner. He takes it, fumbles it, falls on it. Gets it back at the 46-yard line.
Well, I tell you what, Will Wagner is going to spend about the next 48 hours in the whirlpool.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's a little sore and stiff all over. He's ready to go to the sideline, take the pads off.
There's 3 minutes and 7 seconds left in this one from Jones Stadium. Permian controls it with a 35-7 lead, and they have the football, 1st and 10, from their own 46-yard line.
And a bunch of fresh troops go into the ball game.
That's not a fresh troop there, that's the cheerleaders looking out.
Sorry, that should have been watching my monitor.
That's Christie who's cheering on the fresh troops, I think, yeah.
I see.
Case, still an Eric quarterback, hands the ball off to Scrambler. Alan Scrambler picks up about 3-4 quick yards.
Keeps the clock moving at 2 minutes and 55 seconds left in the ball game.
They give him a 3-yard pickup out to the 49. 2nd and 7. Bergen in motion. Up the middle again to Scrambler. He takes it to the 41-yard line.
Boy, Scrambler's got some very quick acceleration. He kind of eased up to the hole and then just pops through it. Watch him here. And here's some quick acceleration up in through that hole.
Bernard Oldham will make the stop. Since 1980, Permian has advanced to at least the quarterfinals in each playoff appearance, with the exception of 1981 when they lost in the regionals. And Permian will return to the semifinals here in 1991. 3rd and 2 from the lead 46-yard line. Less than 2 minutes to go in the game. Scrambler again. Scrambler breaking free. Scrambler down to the 30. Alan Scrambler with a big carry of about 16 yards. Jay Crouch and Henry Stewart making the stop. There's an injury on the field.
It's a Lee Rebel who was hurt on the play. Hope it is certainly not serious.
Doc Allen, the Permian trainer, comes out there quickly to take a look at him. In fact, Doc was a trainer for Permian, then went to Lee, then came back to Permian. So each week he takes care of both teams, but especially this time, it looks like Rod Strambler was down on the play.
He was hurt trying to tackle his cousin. His cousin came back over and had a few words for him while he was laying on the field.
There you see Alan Strambler.
Well, I tell you what, Alan Strambler is a good-looking young running back.
And he is a junior.
Well, I might say that we, perchance, would see some of him next year.
Possibly.
Providing he makes his grade and does all the things that Permian football players have to do, or any other football player in any other team.
But the Panthers not thinking about next year. They'll be thinking about next week in about another 1 minute and 39 seconds.
You know, it's really, I mean, this is a huge victory for them over a big rival, you know, the Permian Basin rivalry and everything else, but they're going to have absolutely no time to savor this victory.
Dennis Graham is now in at quarterback for Permian with 1:39 to go. First and 10 at the Rebel 30. Long count, handoff, Strambler, inside the 30, down to about the 28 is where his forward progress will be stopped. Permian going to their bench right now, as will the Lee Rebels. It is Steve Cloud that makes the stop. And the cheer you hear is for the Waco, which isn't a final, is it?
I think they said final. I'm not sure. Was it a final score? No, not a final.
Not a final.
Waco is now leading 10-7. Oh.
Stefan Molina in the ball game.
And that's Strambler again. First down inside the 20. Strambler just kept chugging with those legs. The young man's pretty impressive on this drive. Great outside block right there. Another try for a block by the quarterback.
Dennis Graham now comes in with 35 seconds left. Permian will snap the ball one more time and then celebrate a quarterfinal victory.
Well, it's according to how long it takes them to run the play. Well, yeah, they got 25 seconds to get it off. They won't have to run another one after this.
And Graham just kneels, and that'll do it. The Permian Panthers, for the second time this year, have beaten the Lee Rebels. Lee will end their season at 12-2. The Permian Panthers continue their drive for a state championship, still unbeaten at 14-0. The final, Permian beats Lee 35-7. Our post-game report in just a moment. This is a Super 7 Sports production.
A big victory for the Permian Panthers. They win 35-7. They win the championship and the bragging rights for West Texas for this football season. The Lee Rebels have absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. They had a tremendous season. The only team they couldn't beat was the Permian Panthers. Unfortunately, they had to beat them to advance in the playoff. So the Lee Rebels go down this afternoon, but the Permian Panthers advance to beat the winner of the Waco-Dallas Carter game. And the final stats in this game are a little bit on the amazing side. For the Permian Panthers, a total of 441 yards in offense. 441 yards in a quarterfinal game is a ton of offense. We did 333 yards on the ground, 108 yards through the air. For the Lee Rebels, it was 156 yards on the ground and 37 in the air for 193 yards total. First downs, Permian just absolutely overwhelmed them 20-8. But the big story were 4 big turnovers by the Lee Rebels. They lost 3 fumbles. They had 1 ball intercepted. Permian took advantage of them, moved it into the end zone, and scored. So, for some individual stats, some quick thing for you. Hamilton ended up with 143 yards, and Williams ended up with 105 yards. So, once again, a game with 200-yard-plus rushers. Absolutely a great show by the Permian Panthers.
Permian had a 13-0 lead at the half on a touchdown and 2 field goals by Shane Wells. And this run that you're watching here by John Williams, a 70-yard touchdown run, gave Permian a 20-0 lead in the third quarter. They never really looked back after that run. Lee did score to make it 20-7, but the Panthers quickly turned that around, scored again. again to make it 28-7 after going for 2. And after that, the game was never really in doubt. The championship trophy for the quarterfinals is now being presented at the center of the field at the Jones Stadium. And the Rebels are there as well to watch on as the Permian team will be getting that trophy and celebrating a quarterfinal championship. Permian heading back to the Final Four.
Well, headed back to the Final Four, and that's an amazing thing. I want to offer some congratulations to all of District 4-5A. This has been a phenomenal season with some great football teams, and we've had the privilege of doing some great football games. That about wraps us up here at Jones Stadium in Lubbock, Texas.
We just heard that Waco is a final now over Dallas Carter.
So the game will be next Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock, Ratliff Stadium in Odessa. And that means ticket sales will start, I'm sure, Monday and Tuesday for season ticket holders, Wednesday and Thursday for everyone else. And it'll be another sellout game, and if anybody wants to get there, they better hurry it up. If somebody could step out in the hallway just a second and see if Coach Wilkins is out there, we might get some final information on exactly what ticket sales are and everything else. Yes, Waco did beat Dallas Carter 10-7. That's amazing. And in the big school game, Justin is beating Fort Bend Dulles, I guess it is, 26-21.
So that's good news for Permian and the fact that they know what they'll be doing. They don't have to wait till Sunday to find out. And also good that they're back at Ratliff Stadium. Permian was at Ratliff Stadium for 2 weeks in a row. They come to Jones Stadium for the victory tonight.
And go back for a semifinal game at Ratliff Stadium. I don't know, do you ever remember another semifinal game that was played in Odessa?
No, I don't. Let's see, Plano in '87. That was quarters or semis?
That was semis.
That was semis.
No, that was quarters.
Okay.
Quarters, yes.
Okay. Semi back at home is a pretty good spot to be in.
Yes, great place to be in. All right. Well, this will about wrap it up. This is Don Scott for Kurt Kaiser. For the entire crew in the trunk, for the crew that works upstairs with us, for our 2 camera people, and for the people who are working very hard as you're listening to this, as they're playing back this game, we want to offer our sincere thanks.